David Pablo Nalbandian is a retired Argentine professional tennis player and former world number 3. He was runner-up at the 2002 Wimbledon Championships and the winner of the Tennis Masters Cup in 2005. He has also won 2 Masters 1000 events and reached the semi-finals or better at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Biography: David Nalbandian was born in the small city of Unquillo in Córdoba province, Argentina. His mother is of Italian descent and his father is of Armenian descent. He became a professional tennis player at the age of 18. Career on the ATP, junior career: as a junior, Nalbandian reached as high as number 3 in the world in December 1998. 2000 Euro 2002, he turned professional in 2000. In 2001, he finished in the ATP top 50 for the first time. He finished 2002 as the number 1 Argentine and South American for the first time in his career, winning 2 ATP titles and reaching the Wimbledon final, where he beat David Nches, Paul-Henri Mathieu, George Basel, Wayne Arthurs, Nicola S. Lepenti and Xavier Malisse before losing to Luton Hewitt. 2003 Euro 2004, Nalbandian did not reach another Wimbledon final in 2003, as he was knocked out in the round of 16 by Tim Henman. He did however have an impressive run at the US Open, taking out both of the Wimbledon finalists 20th seed Mark Philippoussis and 2nd seed Roger Federer on the way to a semi-final match-up with Andy Roddick. It was the second time in less than a month that he had met Roddick in a high-stakes match, having lost to him in the final of the Rogers Cup a few weeks earlier. Nalbandian started strongly, taking a 2-sets-to-love lead, and held a match point in the third set tiebreak. There was a little bit of controversy during the match, when a fan yelled out at 7-7 in the tiebreak, causing Nalbandian to miss-hit his following shot when he thought the linesman was the one who called it. Roddick took the point and eventually prevailed in the tiebreak. Ultimately, he was unable to finish the match off and eventually lost 6-7, 3-6, 7-6, 6-1, 6-3. He finished 2003 ranked number 8 in the world. In 2004, Nalbandian achieved his best result at the French Open, reaching the semi-finals, losing to eventual champion Gaston D'Engordio. Although he did not win any titles in 2004, he did finish runner-up at both the Rome Masters and the Madrid Masters, where he was completely overpowered and outclassed by Carlos Moya and Marat Safin respectively. He broke into the top 5 for the first time in his career in August and finished 2004 ranked as the world number 9 player. 2005, in 2005, Nalbandian advanced to the quarter-finals of the Australian Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open. He also won the Tennis Masters Cup, becoming only the second Argentine tennis player in history to win the year-end tournament. Having replaced Andy Roddick, he won 2 of his 3 group matches. In the semi-finals, he defeated Russian Nikolay Davydenko, and in the final, he beat world number 1 Roger Federer in a 5th-set tiebreak. Nalbandian became the first player to win the cup without previously attaining a Grand Slam or Masters Series title. 2006. In January 2006, Nalbandian beat Fabrice Santoro of France, 7-5, 6-0, 6-0, in the quarter-finals of the Australian Open, becoming, at the time, only the second active player to have reached the semi-finals of each Grand Slam tournament. He lost in the semi-finals to Marcos Baghdatis in a hard-fought 5-set match, despite holding a 2-set-to-love advantage and 4-2 in the final set. In May, he won the Estoril Open tournament in Portugal for the second time, being one of only 3 men to achieve this accomplishment. 1 month later, Nalbandian reached his second French Open semi-final. It was the only time in his career that he reached 2 Grand Slam semi-finals in 1 calendar year. He played Federer and started strongly, winning the first set 6-3 and going 3-0 up in the second set. At 5-2 down in the third set, Nalbandian decided to retire from the match due to stomach injury. At Wimbledon, Nalbandian was beaten in the third round, where he lost to Fernando Verdasco in straight sets. At the US Open, Nalbandian was beaten in the second round by Marat Safin. Nalbandian then competed in the Davis Cup semi-final tie against Australia. David easily won against Mark Philippoussis, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3, to give Argentina 1-0 lead. Argentina went on to win 5-0 to reach the Davis Cup final. Later in the year, Nalbandian reached semi-finals at the Masters Series Madrid and the Masters Cup, where he lost to Roger Federer and James Blake, respectively. Despite winning both of his single rubbers in the Davis Cup final against Safin and Nikolay Davydenko, Nalbandian could not stop the Russian Davis Cup team. Argentina went on to lose 3-2. 2007 saw Nalbandian drop out of the world's top 20 for the first time since 2003, after losing in the fourth round of the 2007 French Open to Nikolay Davydenko. Nalbandian suffered various abdominal injuries, a back injury, and a leg injury during the year. He fell to number 26 in the world, until his season changed after winning the 2007 Madrid Masters. He won the tournament by defeating second seed Rafael Nadal, third seed Novak Djokovic, and top seed Federer in consecutive rounds, becoming the third player after Boris Becker and Djokovic to defeat the world's top three players in a single tournament. He defeated Nadal, 6-1, 6-2, in the quarterfinals. His good form carried him to his second top three win of the tournament, defeating Djokovic in the semi-finals. He stunned Federer in the final, 1-6, 6-3, 6-3, and reached a doubles semi-finals with Guillermo Coll ± as in the tournament, before losing to top-seeded brothers Bob and Mike Bryan in the semi-finals. After the tournament, his singles ranking moved up from number 25 on the tour to number 18. He played at the 2007 Paris Masters and again defeated Federer in the third round, 6-4, 7-6. He beat David Ferrer in the quarter-finals in a closely fought match, 7-6, 6-7, 6-2. After beating Richard Gasquet, 6-2, 6-4 in the semi-finals, Nalbandian won his second straight ATP Masters Series title over Rafael Nadal, 6-4, 6-0, thus, becoming the first player to win the Madrid and Paris Masters back-to-back since former world number 1, Marat Safin in 2004. This win allowed him to move back into the world's top 10 at number 9. After the Paris Masters, Nalbandian became the first player to defeat number 1 and number 2 players in consecutive tournaments and win them. 2008. Nalbandian began his 2008 season back in the top 10. However, at the Australian Open, he failed to reach the quarter-finals, suffering a 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, loss to the 22nd seed Juan Carlos Ferrero in the third round. On February 24, 2008, he won the Copa Telmex in Buenos Aires, beating Jose Copyright Ecasuso, 3-6, 7-6, 6-4, in the final. With that win, he moved to world number 8. The following week, he arrived at the Abierto Mexicano Telcel in Acapulco, Mexico and cruised all the way to the finals, along the way defeating Boris Poranski, Santiago Ventura, Potito Staras, and Luis Horner, beating them all in straight sets, but then lost in the final, to Spaniard Nicola S. Almagro, 1-6, 6-7. He entered his first ATP Masters Series tournament of the year at the 2008 Pacific Life Open, and received a bye in the first round because of his 7th seeding. In the second round, he defeated Ernest Skull by 6-4, 4-6, 7-6, and then came back to beat Raid Gangstrom Tapanek 7-6, 0-6, 7-6. In the fourth round, he avenged his defeat by beating Juan Carlos Ferrero, to whom he lost earlier in the year at the Australian Open, 6-2, 6-2. He lost, however, in the quarter-finals against Mardy Fish 3-6, 7-6, 6-7, in a very close match. He lost at the Monte Carlo Masters to eventual finalist Federer, 7-5, 2 Euro 6, 2 Euro 6. In Barcelona, he was the third seed, but was eliminated by Stanislas Wawrinka in the third round. At the 2008 Rome Masters, he fell in his opening match to Almagro, 4 Euro 6, 5 Euro 7. At the French Open, Nalbandian suffered a shock loss in the second round to Frenchman Ra Machadi. After being 2 sets up and seemingly in control, he lost the next 3 to Machadi. The wins 6 Euro 3, 6 Euro 4, 2 Euro 6, 1 Euro 6, 2 Euro 6. He also suffered early exits from both Wimbledon and the US Open, losing in the second round and third round, respectively. His indoor season, however, was a success, as he won his 9th career title at the 2008 Stockholm Open, defeating Robin Zaar-Delling 6 Euro 2, 5 Euro 7, 6 Euro 3, in the finals. He was defending champion at the Madrid Masters, but was quickly eliminated by fellow Argentine Juan Martín del Potro in the third round. He then entered both the Davidoff Swiss Indoors and the BNP Paribas Masters, where he was once again the defending champion. He did not win either of these tournaments, but found himself in the finals of both. To end the year, he participated in the 2008 Davis Cup and was up on an opening match against David Ferrer. Despite a victory, he ended up on the losing team against Spain in the Davis Cup finals in Argentina. He made some offensive comments in the press against Spain, the Spanish tennis team, and Rafael Nadal. It was rumored that he and Augusta Nkairi were involved in a fight after they lost their doubles rubber. Nalbandian denied this. He was fined $10,000 for leaving the stadium after his and Nkairi's defeat in doubles to Spaniards Fernando Verdasco and Feliciano Lacubde-Pez, and for his refusal to appear at a subsequent press conference to comment on the Argentine team's setback. 2009, Nalbandian started his 2009 tour by winning his 10th career ATP title at the Medibank International in Sydney, Australia, after defeating Finland's Jarkko Nieminen, 6 Euro 3, 6 Euro 7, 6 Euro 2, in the final. At the Australian Open, he defeated Mark Gickel in the first round, 6 Euro 1, 4 Euro 6, 6 Euro 2, 6 Euro 3, before being upset by unseeded Taiwanese player Liu Yensun, 4 Euro 6, 7 Euro 5, 6 Euro 4, 4 Euro 6, 2 Euro 6, in the second round. At the 2009 BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California, he lost to world number 1 Rafael Nadal, 6 Euro 3, 6 Euro 7, 0 Euro 6, in the fourth round for the first time, failing to convert on 5 match points in the second set. In May, he announced that he would have to undergo a hip surgery, resulting in not being able to compete in the remaining Grand Slams and the Davis Cup. In August, he announced that he would return to practice and eventually to competitive tennis at the Australian Open in January. A few days before the beginning of the tournament, he was forced to withdraw from the event due to an abdominal injury. 2010, because of several knee injuries in the early part of the 2010 season, he finally made a return, beginning at the 2010 Copa Telmex, his hometown tournament. He beat Potito Staras in the first round 6 Euro 2, 7 Euro 6, over a period of 2 days due to a rain delay. In the second round, he beat Daniel Gimeno-Trava 6 Euro 7, 6 Euro 4, 7 Euro 6. However, he pulled out of his quarter-finals match against fifth seed Albert Monte ± a copyright S due to a right leg injury. He made a return to tennis by playing doubles for Argentina in the Davis Cup against Sweden in Stockholm, which he won in straight sets. He played the deciding singles rubber, defeating Vince Aguirre 7 Euro 5, 6 Euro 3, 4 Euro 6, 6 Euro 4, and helped Argentina reach the quarter-finals. Playing in his first Masters Series event since Monte Carlo the previous year, he appeared at the 2010 BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. There, he won his first-round match against Stefan Kaubke, 6 Euro 2, 7 Euro 6. In his next round match, he played 22nd seed Jar 1/4 Gen Meltzer and lost 4 Euro 6, 1 Euro 6. He then entered the 2010 Sony Ericsson Open in Miami as a wild-card entrant. He beat Angstrom Erkazkubot 6-3, 6-2, and 30th seed Viktor Troicki 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, before falling to the 4th seed Rafael Nadal in 3 sets 7-6, 2-6, 2-6. He entered the 2010 Monte Carlo Rolex Masters in Monaco, ranked number 151 in the world, beating Andreas Beck in straight sets, before coming through 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 against world number 13 Mikhail Yuzny of Russia in the second round. Nalbandian beat Tommy Robredo, before losing in the quarter-finals to the second-ranked Novak Djokovic 2-6, 3-6. Nalbandian withdrew from the 2010 Internazionale Biennale d'Italia with a right leg injury. The injury persisted, and he withdrew from the 2010 Mutua Madrileña ± Madrid Open, the 2010 Roland Garros and the 2010 Wimbledon Championships. In July, he played 2 singles matches for Argentina against Russia in the Davis Cup at the Olympic Stadium in Moscow. He defeated Nikolay Davydenko, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6, in the first rubber, and Mikhail Yuzny, 7-6, 6-4, 6-3, in the fifth and final rubber, giving Argentina a victory of 3-2 to qualify for the semi-finals. He made his return in the 2010 Legg Mason Tennis Classic, where he won the title, his first since 2009 Medibank International Sydney after wins over Riev Ram, 6-4, 6-0, Stanislas Wawrinka, 6-3, 6-1, Marco Chiodinelli, 6-1, 6-0, Gilles Simon, 3-6, 6-2, 6-3, and Marin Oia, 6-2, 6-2. He defeated Marcos Badatis in the finals, 6-2, 7-6, guaranteeing a jump in the rankings up to the vicinity of world number 45. The following week, he had a successful run to the quarter-finals in the Rogers Masters Series in Toronto, defeating David Ferrer, Tommy Robredo, and Robin Zaar-Paragraph-Delling, before losing to world number 4 Andy Murray after this 11-match winning streak. This run took his rank up to world number 37. He competed at the 2010 BNP Paribas Masters, where he lost again to Murray, 6-2, 4-6, 3-6, in the second round. 2011. Nalbandian began the year ranked number 27 in the world. A sixth seed in the Auckland Open, Nalbandian beat Fabio Fognini, Philip Kohlschreiber, John Isner, and Nicola S. Almagro, without losing a set. However, he lost in the final against David Ferrer. His performance propelled him to the rank of number 21 in the world, while also achieving the number 1 Argentina position at the expense of Juan Martín del Potro, who was also injured. He faced Leighton Hewitt again. The match, dubbed the Clash of the Titans, went in the fifth set as in 2005, but this time for Nalbandian, after 57 games. He saved 2 match points, but in the second round was forced to retire due to cramps and fatigue, 1-6, 0-6, 0-2, to Rioardas Barrancas. After the Australian Open, he played in the Movistar Open. He began his tour on clay by beating his compatriot Carlos Berlocq, before losing against Horacio Zeballos. In Buenos Aires, he lost in the quarter-finals to Tommy Robredo. He played a Davis Cup match, winning in 4 sets against Romanian Adrian Ungar. Due to a torn hamstring and a hernia, he missed many tournaments including Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid and Rome Masters. He lost to Roger Federer in the third round of Wimbledon. 2012, in the Australian Open, Nalbandian had a 5-set loss to Isner and was fined $8,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct following the match. On February, David participated in 2 Davis Cup matches for Argentina against the German team, defeating Florian Mayer in a singles match and then partnering with Eduardo Schwenk to win a doubles match against Tommy Haas and Philippe Tzner to help the Argentinian team advance to the quarter-finals. Afterwards, Nalbandian played a string of clay tournaments, reaching the quarter-finals in the Brazil Open, semi-finals in Buenos Aires and a first-round exit at the Mexican Open. He then entered the first ATP Masters 1000 tournament of the year, the 2012 BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, losing in the quarter-finals to Rafael Nadal. After the tournament, Nalbandian reached number 40 in the ATP rankings but failed to progress past the first round in the 2012 French Open as he was beaten by the Romanian, Adrian Ungar in 4 sets. 2012 Queen's Club Championships incident. In June, Nalbandian reached the final of the Wimbledon Championships at the Queen's Club in England for the first time. The match, against Marin Oiya, became one of the most infamous matches in recent years. He led Oiya by a set but, having been broken to trail 3-4 in the second, was disqualified when he kicked an on-court advertising board bordering a line judge's chair. The board flew off its hinges and struck the judge on the shin, causing blood to pour from a nasty gash. According to The Sun, the injured judge then berated the tennis player before being taken for treatment. After checking on the injured judge, the umpire disqualified Nalbandian to end the match, causing the crowd to jeer in disappointment. The kick was captured live on BBC television and the video went viral on YouTube. A complaint alleging assault was made to the Metropolitan Police, who commenced investigations. An ATP spokesman stated that Nalbandian automatically forfeited his prize money and ranking points due to his conduct to fault. A maximum £8,000 fine was issued on site by the ATP supervisor for unsportsmanlike conduct. In forfeiting his potential prize money of £36,114, $57,350 plus the £8,000, $12,560 conduct fine, he incurred a net loss over the weekend of £44,114, $69,910. He was additionally docked 150 ranking points by the ATP. Nalbandian was unseeded at the Wimbledon Championships, which followed soon after, and was defeated in straight sets by Janko Tipsarevic in the first round. He lost again to Tipsarevic in the first round at the London Olympics. US Open withdrawal. Nalbandian withdrew from the 2012 US Open due to a strained muscle in his chest, one day before his scheduled first-round match against compatriot and 2009 champion Juan Martín del Potro. 2013, after the quarter-final win over France in the Davis Cup, where he played doubles, he was forced to undergo an operation on his right shoulder, sidelining him for much of the 2013 season. On October 1, he announced his retirement. Playing style. Nalbandian is an all-court player and a very clean ball striker. He uses powerfully struck, sharply accurate ground strokes which have very low error percentage. He has a decent, but not particularly dominating service game compared to top 20 players. His signature play is the wide drive that swings out of court on both sides, low and spinning. He can take high balls on the backhand and forehand side and return them with acute angles and low trajectories and uses these skills with great tactical intelligence. His ground game is complemented by his anticipation, speed and ability to end points at the net. Nalbandian's trademark shot is his double-handed backhand down the line, which is often regarded as the best double-handed backhand on men's tour. He often uses it to set up a point, by either hitting a clean winner or forcing a weak return from the opponent. Nalbandian is also known to be one of the game's best returners. He is consistently able to knock balls back deep on the baseline time and time again to effectively set up the point or rip return winners off second serves, but he also has the ability to block it back deep when returning a more effective serve. He also uses a chip and charge technique against the opponent's serves to surprise them. Significant finals, Grand Slam finals, singles, 1, year-end championships finals, singles, 1, Masters 1000 finals, singles, 6, ATP career finals, singles, 24, doubles, 1, exhibition tournaments, singles performance timeline, key, 1 tournament. Or reached final. Semi-final. Quarter-final. Round 4, 3, 2, 1. Competed at a round-robin stage. Lost in qualification round. Absent from tournament event. Played in a Davis Cup zonal group or playoff. Won a bronze, silver or gold medal at the Olympics. A downgraded Masters Series/1000 tournament. Or a tournament that was not held in a given year. To avoid confusion and double counting, these charts are updated either at the conclusion of a tournament, or when the player's participation in the tournament has ended. Current as far as the 2013 Sony Open Tennis. 1 held as Hamburg Masters till 2008. 2 held as Stuttgart Masters till 2001 and Madrid Masters from 2002 a Euro 2008. Heat a Euro to Euro head versus top 10 ranked players. Nalbandian's win-loss record against certain players who have been ranked world number 10 or better is as follows. Players who have been ranked world number 1 are in boldface. As of February 18, 2013. Top 10 wins per season, wins over top 10 players per season, references. External links. Official website, David Nalbandian at the Association of Tennis Professionals, David Nalbandian at the International Tennis Federation, David Nalbandian at the Davis Cup, news about David Nalbandian.